Sorry if Levi Fuss is in the background, but he's grumpy, he's teething, he's getting his third tooth now in the last week. Ugh. Anyways, so today's vlog is going to be about getting out of a toxic relationship and knowing that your relationship is toxic. I have a little bit, I have 2 things written down, but I'm kind of just gonna go with my gut on this one and just tell you guys how I feel about it, what you should do, just my advice kind of. I was in a toxic relationship. It was horrible. It was literally the worst thing I've ever been through. It completely destroyed me as a person. I was very depressed, and a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people still don't know that to this day, but I'm 19 now. I'm old enough. I've come to terms with it, and I'm ready to get over it and move on. Not that I haven't already, but some things need to be said before I'm able to, and I feel like if I can help people with my experience, then I should. Sorry if you see this white stuff. This is baby puke. This is what it's like to be a mom. So I was in a relationship 2 years ago, and you guys, if you watched me on YouTube about 1.5 to 2 years ago, you probably knew who I was dating. I'm not gonna say his name here. It's not to bash somebody. He's already... don't even get me started. So this person I started dating, he was my first real boyfriend. It was super serious way too fast. I ended up giving him my virginity, and that was a decision I still regret to this day. So I felt like I needed to give him my virginity for him to stay around. He pressured me a lot. He asked me for things a lot. He just would not stop pestering me about this one thing. So I thought, with my twisted 16-year-old mind, if I do these things, maybe he'll like me more. Maybe he'll say he loves me. And it's really hard for me to talk about because I was so devoted to this person and so dedicated to this person, and I thought they were the coolest thing in the world. They were just someone who came into my life and completely changed my views on everything. And it turns out that later on, about 5 months later, he started talking to other girls, and I tolerated it. And I pretended nothing was happening. I didn't want to know. I mean, in the back of my mind, I wanted to know, but I told him I didn't want to know. I told everybody I didn't want to know what they heard. My friends started coming up to me and telling me things that they heard. It was really bad. And then about a year passed, and things were getting really, really bad. He would yell, he would cuss, he would raise a fist at me, he would push me up against the wall, and people still don't know this. This is something I haven't told anybody except for my closest friends. And I didn't tell anybody, and I thought it was normal because I had this sick, twisted sense because that's the only person I've ever been with. So I started believing that it was something I was doing wrong, and it wasn't. It was something that was messed up in his head. I'm sorry. It was something that was wrong with him, and I lived 2 years of my life thinking it was my fault, and if he did something to me, it was my fault for doing it, and I shouldn't do this, and I shouldn't speak up about things. So one day I walked into his room and he was asleep, so I got his phone to move it, and on his phone was an open text message that he was about to send to somebody. The girl's name was Ruby, and I didn't know her. I'm assuming she was somebody he met online, and it said, "Good morning, beautiful, how's my Ruby?" That was kind of the last straw to me. I threw his phone on the floor and woke him up and told him, "What is going on? What the hell are you doing? Why are you doing this to me? What have I done wrong now?" He just started bawling, and he said, "I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know why I did this. I'm sorry. I don't know what I'm doing. Please help. I'm sorry. Don't leave, don't leave, don't leave." So I stayed, and I forgave him, and things just kept going from there. He kept talking to more girls because he knew that he could get away with it. He was going online chats. This girl, Ruby, that he was texting was 14 years old and he was 19. He would get naked pictures to his phone of other girls, and he would tell me that they just sent them on accident, and I was getting fed up, completely fed up, and I told him one day, I had my best friend, Randy, at the time. Randy looked me in the eyes and she said, "You need to get out of this." And so I essentially told him that we are done. I'm done. I don't want to be treated like this anymore, and I left. I was 17 years old, 17 and a half years old, I think. And of course we kept talking for a little bit, and I wanted to get back together with him because he was my first love and my first boyfriend, and I lost my virginity with him. It's not fair to stay in a relationship like that for me because I was loyal, I was faithful, and I deserve a lot better than that. So didn't ever go back. I did talk to him. I talked to him up until before I met Rodney, and then we stopped talking. So anyways, that was a very toxic relationship that has hindered my relationship, my trust in relationships for the next God knows how long. I'm still healing from it. And after I had gotten pregnant, I actually got messages from him telling me that I should kill myself. And this is a lot of stuff that nobody knows and stuff that I like to keep to myself, just simply because I don't want to bash anybody and he doesn't deserve to be on blast, but honestly, maybe he kind of does. So what my mom told me to do when I was dating him was to write down a list of the pros and cons and how he makes me feel. So I wrote down the pros and I wrote down the cons and I compared the lists, and the pros were like this long and the cons were like this long. I was not happy. I needed to get out of that relationship, and if I could have gone back 2 years ago, I would have said just leave. Don't do anything, leave. So then I found out that he actually had like charges in his background. He had been to jail before. He had been to a juvenile program before. He had actually committed several counts of sodomy on people, including his little sister. And if you guys don't know what sodomy is, then go look it up. And I'm saying this out so that people know that it was a very traumatic experience, and just knowing that I was with somebody like that and I didn't know he was like that. My dad did some research, everybody was doing their research, and they found out all these things about him, and I essentially was freaked out to the point of I gotta leave, I gotta go. And then another point that I have is if you're starting to question your relationship, or if you see them like hiding their phone and whatnot, don't necessarily be that psycho girlfriend, but if you see them like, here's my phone, if you see them and they're like texting somebody and you walk in the room and they're like, and like put their phone down or hide it or put it in their pocket. One of the problems I had with this previous boyfriend was he would always lock his phone and I wasn't allowed to know the password. And that should have been a big red flag in the beginning. And I mean, I thought about it, but I was like, okay, it's not even worth talking about. I didn't think anything of it, and then it got worse and worse and worse. Turns out he was talking to girls. So if they start hiding their phones or keeping a password and you're not allowed to see it, if they're being weird or sketchy, if you ever get like sketchy feelings around them, just trust your gut. Like, that's the most important thing and set of advice I can give you is just to trust your gut, because usually it's right. So yeah, if you're questioning things, there's probably something going on. And another thing I noticed is what I was told a lot, and what I also noticed is whenever like he would be doing something bad, I would get accused for things. Like if I went out to go hang out with my friends, I would get accused of cheating. And like if I'd go to the movies with my best friends or like a group of people, all girls, might I add, all girls, I would get accused of cheating or like sleeping with other people. It was really bad. Like anytime I would get threats, I would get texts like nonstop. One time I went to a play with my best friend Randy and I turned off my phone for the play. I told him I was turning my phone off because I didn't want to text during the play. It was disrespectful to have this big bright light in a dark room. And I turned on my phone to 356 text messages and 17 missed calls. So, I mean, thinking about it now, I can't believe that I stayed with him as long as I did, but I did, and I can't take that back. And I definitely have grown from it and learned from it. And honestly, he's probably gonna see this video. He has repeatedly told me that he's going to find me, stalk my Instagram, stalk my Facebook and stuff, and like, so I had to block him on everything. I blocked him on Instagram, and then he started sending me these messages on Instagram like telling me that Levi wasn't Rodney's and stuff. I'm like, okay, he's psycho, and I know he still watches my stuff. I don't really have anything to say to you. Feelings about this have kind of subsided, and I'm kind of just done. The whole thing is just over. I'm over with it. I don't mean to bash anybody, but I feel like that story needs to be shared, and it was a very big, huge part of my life. It was 2 years that needs to be shared with people, because other girls, if I could prevent other girls from getting in toxic relationships like that just by sharing my story, is great. Just follow your gut, trust your instincts, and trust your heart for sure. If you feel heartbroken about something, if your boyfriend cheated on you, he's gonna cheat on you again. It's not just a one-time thing. People don't change. People might change a little bit, but if a guy cheated on his girlfriend to be with you, he's gonna cheat on you to be with another girl. It just is gonna happen. You can say that's true or not, but eventually you will learn. And yeah, so just be careful, guard your heart, and you don't have to have a boyfriend right now. I know that a lot of people that watch me are in high school. You don't have to have a guy right now. I know that a bunch of girls have them, but you don't need one to be okay and happy. You need to focus on you at this point, focus on your grades and focus on you, like becoming a better you. And you, like, the most important thing I have to say to you guys is you have to learn to love yourself before you can love somebody else. So yeah, I will talk to you guys later. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any comments and you want to talk to me about something, go ahead and post them down below. If you want like an anonymous comment or something, send me a message and I'll talk about it in my next video anonymously, or you can just send me a message and I'll talk to you. I'll have my Instagram and my Twitter linked down below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you like more heart-to-heart videos like this, just let me know. Thumbs up if you liked it, and I will get back at you guys later. Thanks for watching. Bye.